We are today in India, in Mumbai.
And we are going to discuss on time and space. We both are from the different time, born in different time. I am 20 years senior than her, and you are born in 1983 and I am 1965. So both our time is different and both are space. Why it is time and space? Because she is from Colombia, I am from India. So I'd like to ask Joce that when you start doing painting or your artwork.
I started developing my art techniques since I was a kid, I think, since school. I love the use of colors. And then after I took some classes of oil painting and acrylic, so that helped me to develop better my technique. But I really took it serious after I finished my degree in product design, and it was not something that I was looking for. It's something that it came to my life because I felt creative, and I took some materials, some paintings, and then I wanted to express myself in some way. So the way of expressing myself was through art. And because I have a design background, I think pop art helped me a lot to understand a little bit what kind of shapes and form and colors I wanted to express. So that's why I never chose, I want to be a pop artist. No, it came and I just expressed myself in that style.
And when I saw her work, it reminded me the kind of painting also in Indian traditional paintings, particularly in Jain miniatures or before that. So your work is that with a flat color with a black outline.
Exactly.
She finished all the paintings, all the drawings, all these things, so the flat, bright colors with a black outline. Even if you see our Indian art, they are having flat colors mostly.
Okay.
It is called tempera medium, flat color with a black outline or deep brown outline. But what I have seen the differences between the European art. Your art is more European, and our art. I am doing the artwork is mostly the Indian traditional technique, and this I am following. I have mixed it with a modern technique also with that. That Indian art is much more talking about the
Inner side, exactly.
Inner side of this thing. I'm talking about the traditional painting of Indian, means 100 years, 300, 400, 500 years as an Indian paintings, not today's work, not content. I'm not discussing the contemporary art. And the European always I have seen that more in physical beauty.
Exactly, and I've been living in Europe for 10 years, and I studied drawing and painting in Italy, so my way of expressing myself through art is related to beauty, but outside beauty. So for me it's super interesting to come to India and have these talks with another artist. I'm very curious about what is the way to make a spiritual painting, because if it's the inner side, you have to express emotions. I know that some artists does that, but pop art is very rational way of painting. So I wanted to explore that technique, and I was curious also. Tell me for you.
Actually, spirituality in art, or you can say in life.
In life, yeah. Exactly.
One cannot be, what I believe, one cannot be do spiritual kind of artwork without being a spiritual person.
Yes.
So for that you need to practice some spiritual practice. You have to start, and slowly when the things will come on your mind and body, and this thing you start feeling it, and that feelings ultimately you are an artist, you will express through your artwork. And those who are writers, they will express through their writings. So those who are the singers, they will through singing. We are going to see actually within us, inside us. Then you started going deep into deep. That's I actually personally believe that is the spirit. To understand that your soul.
Exactly.
To understand the soul of our human being. That is more important to me in that way.
Exactly, and it's also interesting because we have something in common, even that we are from a different time and
Yeah,
space.
yeah, time and space.
We both do meditation, and I'm very curious about how meditation can help for creativity or can help for getting to these kind of deep thoughts. So it's something that I do it and it comes for me, but it's nice to understand how it helps, how this light comes to your life and how it comes for you to express in a different way.
Yeah.
So if you been, since when have you been doing meditation? Many years?
Yeah, many years. Because from my childhood, my father's actually, I used to be very active and restless boy. My father used to sit quiet, used to force me to sit quietly and do close your eyes, do this practice. That time I didn't know that this is called meditation.
Okay.
But over the years I'm doing and seriously you can say I am doing it last 30 years.
Okay.
After passing out from my university, I started doing practicing, and I was in Benares, so that the Benares is a spiritual place for India. It is the oldest living city of the world, and that is more than 10,000 years old city. So there are a lot of spiritual practices going on. When my first job was in Benares, so when I joined there and that organization also a spiritual organization, so I started practicing that one, and slowly today I am here. Today we are meeting each other, and we have created this too. I have created this painting, and she has created this Mr. Ravi Shankar Guru. She is trying to do that spiritual kind of thinking through this painting.
How meditation helps creativity?
Yes, this is a very interesting question. And what is actually meditation does?
Exactly.
So when we are to start thinking, actually many things happening at the same time in our brain. Suppose I am thinking of, at the moment I am discussing with you, something coming to my mind that we have some tomorrow classes, then there is something, so many things coming to our mind at the same time. Now, when you sit quietly and close your eyes and you are trying, just close your eyes and sitting very quietly, slowly, lot of things coming to our mind, and slowly, one of the it will reduce slowly it will reduce the intensity of thinking and this thing, and slowly you are coming to maybe you are thinking of 10 items, slowly 5, 4, 3, 2, then the time will come, you will find a zero. To get on a zero, and it's very difficult. So through lot of days practicing and doing, once you suddenly find there is a light.
And that is the moment when
this
light comes.
When this moment the light is coming, then that time it means you are not thinking anything, only you are getting the lights inside you. And when you are coming back to your regular life, when that time you are coming with the more creating more. Whatever work you are doing, if you are doing painting, you have a lot of ideas coming up, innovative ideas. So to become more creative, you need to have, I personally believe, you need to have a good meditation.
I 100%.
And after the meditations, you will feel calm and quiet and many things, because actually this meditation also, we have so many things in the brain to clean our brain. It helps to clean there is a lot of darts in our brain, which we don't need actually to run our regular life. So to clean this dart also meditation helps. When you are cleaning it, you can see that main part, that is creation or thinking, something you are going to, you love to do it. Because what I felt is the way if you have a gold, silver, if it is keeping and somewhere, and if you are not cleaning it, it becomes that glow of that gold and the glow of the silver you cannot see. To see that glow of the gold, you have to polish it or you have to clean it every day. So like our brain, we need to clean every day. And how we will clean it? That is meditation is the only way to clean our brain. If you are cleaning it, then you are shining. Yes.
And that is the way. That is what we need to achieve in that.
And I would like to ask you how in you are from Colombia.
Yes.
How you think in meditation or in what the Colombian people or artists or European people work for 10 years in Spain, and how you see these matters?
About meditation?
About the art and this thing, how the artist and you, how you interact with that.
About Western beauty, that is more about the Renaissance, of course. They care more about the human body, the perfection of the details of the clothing. So it's very interesting for me to discover a new way of expressing yourself as you do, because here in India the way of expressing yourself is about telling stories. At the beginning, the most when I went to the museum, to the Western Museum, I was impressed about many illustrations made in paper and watercolor or acrylic. They do their own colors. How you make it with stones at the beginning, those times.
Yeah, and also painting also, but that those evidence are not there. But most of the stone work, stone carving.
Exactly. So it's always about telling something. It's always about bringing something from the past as well and telling in the present, and the way of expressing themselves is in plain colors, just plain colors, outline, shapes, and the way, I don't know, to use the space is more like in a vertical way. I don't know if I'm wrong about that.
No, actually, if you see the painting from West and Indian art paintings are much more in mental work with the mental perspectives.
Okay.
And West, they are going to the environmental perspective, the actual perspective. What you have seen in the try to do exactly the same. Okay. But in India, according to the subject, importance of the subject, importance of the particular person, we become bigger.
Okay.
And less important. If you see the Ajanta painting, Buddha is a bigger person, another person is a...
Then you give a important and the proportion of the people in the painting,
So according to the proportions, perspective, everything is done according to the importance of this subject.
Okay.
And they are in the West, they are wanted to show what is actually happening
in that moment,
more realistic manner.
Exactly.
Rather you can say the photographic manner.
Completely opposite as what is pop art that I've been doing the last year. Pop art is what you see, is what it is. It is about your daily life. You know, take stories of different kind of techniques about completely different. So and now I'm working in a project trying to make a pop art in this Indian style of painting.
And not only that, I really appreciate her. So, because she tried here in this painting and in this pop art, her style of work is a pop art, and that kind of style of work, how it works with the spiritualism, with the Indian symbolism, you can say, about spiritualism. So, we have gone through a lot of spiritual discussions about that. Then she started this painting, and and this. Now, if you see this painting, particularly this painting, if you see her earlier, totally different.
Completely
different.
I can say something. For a spiritualist, I went to a completely opposite palette, because I was using bright colors and I took the lightest color I could get as well. I don't use white in my paintings, and it came a lot of bright. So I took all the good. It's the first time I take from my inside all this belief, because I've been practicing for many years. I think I started listening what it was meditation about 12 years ago, because my family also practice and my friends. In Colombia, it's not as big as in India. It's a few people, the one who really care about this belief and this philosophy, because it's a way of living. And you have to go and look for it, So I was very curious all the time, and I was taking workshops. So for some reason, I feel that I'm in India and I'm looking for that light. I've been looking for that light for many years. And now that I'm here, that's why we got inspired to make this video to share about what is the spiritual way of thinking in art and in life here in India.
And also, I have also tried to use some of the art, pop art, style of pop art, and bright colors is these things. Here I am also
crazy.
so I am also trying to learn something how I can work in my canvas with her style of work on the pop art, these things. So this is our first tour. In future, we're definitely going to do much more work, and we'll see maybe after 1 year we are going to have more 10-15 pieces.
To show here in India, why not?
Yeah. In India, we are planning to have some exhibitions in different places of India.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So thank you very much to listen to us. I am Aloke Tirtha Bhowmick. People call me Dada. And she is.
I'm Jocelyn Montero. People call me Joss. So